Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to Bioxplaining. This is your biology educator Anuska Sen, and in today's video I'm going to talk about cellular respiration and its different types. Okay, so respiration is a metabolic, that is a catabolic biochemical process that occurs in all organisms. Now, metabolism is of two types. One is anabolism, which is the build-up or the creation of something, and the other one is catabolism, which refers to the breakdown of a certain substance. Okay, and this is a biochemical process. Matlab, this is a chemical process occurring in bio. So bio refers to, that is, it is occurring inside living organisms. Okay, now in this process, the energy that is produced, so energy is a major product. It is produced by the breakdown of glucose. Glucose has the chemical formula C6H12O6 and it is known as the respiratory substrate, that is on which respiration occurs. The breakdown occurs to glucose, is utilized by the cells to perform various functions. This is an example of one type of respiration, the aerobic one, that is oxygen acts on glucose and breaks it down to CO2, H2O and a certain amount of energy. So this cellular respiration process occurs in all organisms, unicellular, multicellular. The different types of respiration occur in different organisms. So let's have a look at the different types. Okay, so first what happens is the glucose which is present, we just discussed its chemical formula, it is C6H12O6, right? So in the cytoplasm of the cell, the glucose is broken down into pyruvate by a process called glycolysis. So this is a 10-step process. In details we are not doing here. So we just need to know that by this process called glycolysis, this 6-carbon glucose breaks down into 2 molecules of pyruvate, which is also known as pyruvic acid. Okay. So for both kinds of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic, this pyruvic acid is first produced in the cytoplasm. Now see, if oxygen is present, this pyruvate will now be forwarded into the mitochondria and there it breaks down to ultimately produce carbon dioxide, water and energy, that is 38 ATP is produced in total and we say that the net gain is 36 ATP. Net gain is 36 ATP. So this is the greatest amount of energy produced in any kind of respiration. Fine. So what you've seen is in the first type that we are studying right now, which is the aerobic type, aerobic respiration, in the presence of oxygen, pyruvate is finally giving rise to carbon dioxide, water and energy, net gain of which is 38 ATP. Fine. What is the other type? Here, in the absence of oxygen, this mainly occurs in case of yeast, also in case of plants. In case of yeast, what we find is the product is ethanol, C2H5OH, just alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. So this is anaerobic respiration and this is alcoholic fermentation. The process is known as alcoholic fermentation. The third type is that again, in the absence of oxygen, say when you are doing very heavy physical exercise, right? You are running or you are cycling for a long time, you experience muscle cramps, right? There's fatigue in the muscles. Why so? Because your body is, so just look at this, an overall idea. Left panel is aerobic respiration, right panel shows anaerobic respiration. So in case of both aerobic and anaerobic, the part that is common is the glycolysis part, right? In both aerobic and anaerobic, in the cytoplasm, glycolysis will occur and pyruvate will be produced, right? The difference is that in aerobic, this pyruvate will now move on into the mitochondria to undergo two other processes. One is the citric acid cycle, which in common words is also known as the Krebs cycle. Then it goes to your electron transport chain. We abbreviate it to be ETC. And finally, the process ends. While in case of anaerobic respiration, nothing goes on in the mitochondria. Everything will occur in the cytoplasm itself. The pyruvate in this case, as they are showing, will undergo lactic acid fermentation and produce lactic acid, also known as lactate. So let's just have a recap of the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, oxygen is needed, while in anaerobic respiration, oxygen is not needed. Site of occurrence in case of aerobic, as you've just seen, that glycolysis for both aerobic non-aerobic will occur in the cytoplasm, while in case of respiration, which is aerobic, mitochondria comes in for your Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. End products in case of aerobic CO2 and H2O. In case of anaerobic, if you talk about animals, then we have lactic acid. For plants or yeast, we have CO2 and ethanol. And in case of energy, large amount of energy is produced in case of aerobic. That is a net 36 ATP gain is visible. While in case of anaerobic, lesser amount, that is 2 ATP are produced. The substrate oxidation in case of aerobic is complete. That is, it is a complete oxidation of glucose. Hence, larger amount of ATP, larger amount of energy is liberated. While in case of anaerobic, incomplete oxidation of glucose, and as a result of that, there is lesser amount of ATP or energy that is liberated. I hope the brief idea about respiration and the different types is clear to all of you. If you like this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe to our channel Bioxplaining for Anuska. Bye-bye.